ask you all to imagine something with me. You spent years preparing for just one moment. Early mornings, years of long practice, and sacrifices that nobody ever saw have all led up to today. Thousands are watching. The whistle is blown. You make your move. You score. For a few unforgettable seconds, you think that you've created the best moment of your life. But then suddenly, everything freezes. The referee raises a finger. A giant screen lights up. 30 seconds later, the decision is made. No goal. In an instant, joy turns into disappointment. The story you thought you were writing changes right before your eyes. Now you might think that this is a story about football, but no, it's about life. Because all of us have experienced those moments in which we think that everything's going perfectly, but then, without warnings, the rules change. I like to call moments like these the turn. It's an unexpected moment when your plans no longer seem to work. But the real question isn't whether change will arrive or not. It's about how we'll respond when it does. Now, sports shows us that change changes things a lot. For years, athletes relied on strength, tradition, and instinct. But then technology arrived and everything changed. Fans said that it was ruining the game. But the more I watched, the more I realized something. Turns weren't taking sports away. They were just asking the athletes to play differently. Success doesn't always belong to the strongest or the most talented. It also belongs to the ones who adapt first and are open to change. And that's the idea I want to share to you today. Don't just survive change, turn the turn. Let me give you a few examples of turn the turn in action. When DRS was first introduced in cricket, everyone began complaining. They said, it's too slow, it's ruining the umpire's vibe. But look at the smartest teams. They didn't just deal with the cameras, they turned DRS into a tactical chess move. They realized that if they could predict where the ball was going better than the person standing next to them, they could win a game without even swinging a bat. What started as a boring technology rule became a way to outsmart the opponent's brain. Another change in sports is what happened in tennis. Earlier, it used to be that if you didn't like the call, you had to shout at the umpire until your face was red. It was like a waste of breath. But look at the champions like Federer and Nadal. They used the reviews to keep their focus. They used the moment to stay calm. They truly turned a moment of that's not fair into a moment of let's check the facts. Complaints became confidence. Now you might be thinking, okay, that's great for multi-millionaire athletes on TV, but what does it have to do with us? Well, let me tell you about my own DRS moment. For 5 years, I played the piano. My fingers could fly across those 88 black and white keys without me even noticing. I was comfortable. I had a plan. I knew exactly where the notes were. But then my parents wanted me to switch to the guitar. I walked into my first lesson, picked up the instrument, and boom, the turn. Suddenly, everything I knew felt completely useless. Earlier, I used to press flat, smooth keys, but now I was literally pressing sharp metal strings that made my fingertips bleed. I was used to move my hands left and right gracefully on the piano, but now I had to force my left hand to hold weird shapes while my right hand tried to keep rhythm. I was frustrated. I was annoyed. I thought I spent 5 years becoming good at music, but now it just sounded like a car alarm that didn't know how to turn off. But then I realized that I had a choice. I could either be the person complaining on the sidelines, or I could do what champions do. So I decided to turn the turn. Firstly, I looked for the advantage. I knew that even though the layouts were completely different, the musical theory was still the same. Secondly, I faced the problem. I knew that my fingers had to build up those calluses before it would even sound good. And thirdly, I practiced. Now, I'm not just a piano player, I'm like a multi instrumentalist. The same thought that made me want to throw that guitar out of the window actually made me better at it. In the end, change is a turning point in our life and in sports. It's like a fork in the road. Ordinary players take the path of complaining. They stay the same while the world moves past them. True champions do something different. They see the change, they adjust their stance, and they leap. They don't just get through the change, they face it with courage, use their intelligence to adapt, and come out of the other side stronger, faster, and smarter than they were before. Listen closely. Turn the Turn isn't just a sports headline, it's a survival guide for our life. Right now, we're standing on our own playing field, and I know it's not always easy. Maybe your turn is a maths exam that looks like a foreign language. Maybe it's a rejection from a team you worked all summer for, a change at home you didn't ask for, or a friendship that suddenly went cold. In those moments, you're gonna feel it. The heavy weight of disappointment, the urge to just walk away and say, "This is not fair." But champions don't look for what's fair, they look for what's possible. The moment you stop complaining and start hunting for the solution, you grow. You take that failure and you flip it. You take that rejection and use it as fuel. You take every setback that was meant to stop you and turn it into a stepping stone that carries you higher. When you do that, you aren't just a student, kid, or a player. You're a champion in the making. So, when life changes the rules on you tomorrow, and it will, don't back down. Don't freeze. Instead, look the challenge right in the eye, remember your powers, and turn the turn. Thank you.